What's up, everybody? My name is OMG, WTF, LOL, FTW, BRB. Welcome back to more of the Total Extreme Wrestling 2016, We are playing as the WWF in the year 2002, booking the invasion angle, and we are on the road to WrestleMania. We are in day 4 of the week of WrestleMania. Almost got my days wrong there. Day 4 of the week of WrestleMania. It's Thursday night Nitro. The final show, unless you count Sunday Night Heat Super Show, the final show before WrestleMania. Heat Super Show is kind of like a mini pay-per-view, so that's why I'm like, unless you count that. This is like the final storyline telling show before we get to WrestleMania, before we get to the big one. So before we get to that, I got a couple of things I want to talk about, as always. Real quick, I want to apologize ahead of time if the audio sounds a little different, a little weird, a little too loud. I did a couple test recordings beforehand, and I don't think it sounded too different. I am somewhere else recording in a different location, trying to test out like the different acoustics and all that, and seeing that this is a better recording area than where I usually record. So if it's good, let me know. If it's bad, let me know. Either way, let me know. Also, like I said, this is day 4 of the week of WrestleMania. We are rolling on to day 5, and day 5 is going to be a special one because we will be live. We are going to be live on Twitch for day 5 over on my homeboy, my buddy, Zach Manzi, NVO. That's the Twitch. Go over there, check it out. It's going to be down in the description. This is being recorded a little bit in advance, to be completely honest, so I don't know the exact time we're going to be on Twitch, but it will be down there in the description because I should know by the time that this video is being uploaded. So definitely check out the description, unless I kind of remember to put it on the video. But from what I remember, you can't link like other channels or outside websites on YouTube in videos. So that's why I said I might have to do it in description. But definitely check that out. Go over to Zach Manzi, MVO. Give him a follow. Hit that bell icon or whatever notification icon they got over there. We are going to be live Friday with a Fire Pro simulation of both the Sunday Night Heat Super Show and the WrestleMania 18 Invasion style. So go ahead and check that out. We're going to be giving away 2 copies of Total Extreme Wrestling 2016 over on Zach's channel as well. So you guys got to check it out. It's enough plugging there. Let's just move on, shall we? Let's start a Nitro. Let's get started to what you guys want to see. And it's Mark Henry and Monty Brown teaming up to take on the Island Boys. Don't tell me that's not what you guys wanted to see. That's what you guys wanted to see. 42 solid D rating here, as we have a couple of pre-show matches. I'm still testing the waters with some of our developmental stars, seeing kind of who's ready and who's not. So we have an abysmal pre-show matchup here. The Alpha Males, the team that I created of Mark Henry and Monty Brown, go over the Island Boys, which is Kimu and Akumu, I think their names are, aka Umaga, and it's a superhero in training. Their 3-minute warning, it gives you guys a better idea who they are. Either way, the Alpha Males go over the Island Boys in 8 minutes, 8 seconds, after Monty Brown goes over Kimu with the pounce. Gotta love the pounce. In terms of in-ring work, Monty Brown was head and shoulders above everybody else. Mark Henry apparently not suited to his gimmick. I believe that's because he's a monster, and monster gimmicks aren't really suited to being faces, I think, so might have to change that. Color commentary helped us out. Kumu had an in-ring performance of a 26. Looks like he was the worst of everybody here. Kimu only 1 point better than Kumu. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing those right. But he had a 27 in-ring performance. Monty Brown, the best of everybody here, with a 48 in-ring performance. 10 points better than his partner, future world heavyweight champion in the real life, Mark Henry. So Monty Brown definitely looks like he may be ready. Mark Henry also improving in performance, so only getting better. Good stuff, good stuff. We then move on to another pre-show match. Woo, boy, this sucked. 29 solid E rating here. We have an abysmal pre-show matchup here with Leviathan, aka Batista, to those of you guys who don't know who that is. Leviathan going over Joe E. Legend. I'll just point them out as I go through it. Joe E. Legend, Easy Money, Red Dog, who I believe is Rodney Mack, Reno, I don't know who Reno is, and Ron Waterman. in 9 minutes 37 seconds after Leviathan defeats Red Dog with a sit-out powerbomb. The Batista bomb. The Leviathan bomb. In terms of in-ring work, Reno was head and shoulders above everybody else. Reno, the weirdo guy? Really? I would have never expected that. I kind of did a match similar to this a while back, but it was a battle royal. And I guess you're not able to test out people's in-ring performances in battle royals. So this time I made sure to do a 6-man match so we can test out their performances. These are all the guys who are like 30 and older because it's either now or never pretty much for them. And right now it's looking for poor little Red Dog here, a.k.a. possibly Rodney Mack, that it's never. Because a pretty vocal crowd didn't seem particularly thrilled with seeing him wrestle. Now remember, there was a pretty vocal crowd who wasn't very happy with seeing Daphne wrestle that seemed to turn around on her. But I like Daphne. I have no connection with Red Dog or Rodney Mack if that is who you are, so he'll probably be getting the boot, to be completely honest here. With an in-ring performance of a 12, that's not good. That's not good. But anyway, Easy Money with an in-ring performance of a 26. Joey Legend with an in-ring performance of an 18. He was somebody a subscriber actually asked me to bring in. He's not, he's not doing anything special here, but he's not Rodney Mack bad. There is promise, I guess. Leviathan Batista is an in-ring performance of a 20, and I'll probably end up keeping him because, well, he is Batista, but at the end of the day, there are only 2 points between them. So I'll end up probably keeping Joey Legend, mostly because a subscriber requested him as well. If there's anybody you guys are a fan of as well, you can always request them, and I'll most likely take a look at him and give him a developmental deal and see where it goes from there. Red Dog, we've already talked about. He had an in-ring performance of a 12. Abysmal. Reno, which I never would have expected Reno, of all people, had an in-ring performance of a 36. Looks like Reno might be getting a call-up here sometime soon. I don't know what the hell I'd do with him, though. Ron Waterman with an in-ring performance of a 24. Oh boy, Ron, you better pick it up. You're old, dude. You are old. You might not be a guy that sticks around either. Maybe get like a 1-year contract on the main roster and see where that goes. And finally, in our final pre-show match of the night, we have a match that had a 58 C-. That's actually really good for these two. 58 C- in a poor pre-show matchup here. The one, Billy Gunn, goes over Mike Sanders in 13 minutes, 22 seconds with a handful of tights. Sanders, of course, was over the 30 mark as well, but he looked like the one who had the most potential of them all, so that's why I gave him a match against, some of a better talent with, I guess, Billy Gunn. I don't know if you can call him better talent. He was worse than Mike Sanders, apparently. Nonetheless, though, Mike Sanders is impressive here tonight. Mike Sanders with an in-ring performance of a 53. Billy Gunn with a 52. 1 point better than someone on our main roster. That's kind of promising. That really only shows that right there, only thing that's holding Mike back right now is popularity. So Mike Sanders might be a guy that we have to pay attention to in Season 2. No worker improvements, though. So real quick, before we go ahead and start the main show, I am going to take a drink of my Huata here. Because it's going down. Also, no, we are not going to be turning Billy Gunn quite yet. So the show kind of starts off with one of those things where they're kind of hyping up the show. It's not necessarily an angle to show it off. So you got Dusty Rhodes, Mike Tenay, and Bobby, I almost said Bobby Roode. Oh, not Bobby Roode. Bobby Heenan kind of going over the card tonight. So you got later on tonight, we're going to be seeing Kurt Angle and Ric Flair. They're going to be doing their contract signing. And also later on tonight, we'll be seeing the contract signing between The Rock and Booker T and Shane McMahon in a handicap match. All to come later on tonight. So a 79 solid B for that. And then we also hype up that tonight, later on, don't worry about that, Daddy, because we got a huge 8-man tag team match up here. It's going to be the WCW. I feel like I'm doing a very bad thing here. I'm dishonoring Dusty Rhodes with my horrendous accent or impersonation of him. But nonetheless, we're going to keep doing it. As tonight, the WCW Tag Team Champions. And I feel like I make him sound like Mike Tyson sometimes. Canyon and Hugh Morris will be teaming up with Chris Jericho and Christian of Vitamin C to be taking on Team Extreme when literally Team Extreme, I don't know where I was going with that. Nonetheless, taking way too long to announce this 8-man tag team match. Of course, we will see an 8-man ladder match for the tag team titles at WrestleMania, but tonight, 8-man tag team match, as it'll be Canyon and Morris teaming up with Jericho and Christian to take on Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Rob Van Dam, I almost said Rob Hardy, and Sabu, and kind of like a legitimate Team Extreme kind of situation there is what I was trying to go for. Nonetheless, no, what? No, get out of here. 83 B+ rating to start off the night as Lord Regal's music interrupts the announce team as they're hyping up the show, and the general manager of Nitro makes his way towards the ring. In the ring, there's a podium set up, the table, contract set up already because we're getting ready to sign the contract for both the WCW United States and Canadian Championships. Both titles will be on the line at WrestleMania. But on the podium, there sits kind of like a mysterious box, just sitting under like this black cloth or, blanket, whatever you want to call it. Lord Regal, he gets in the ring, he takes the podium, and he begins to speak. So my apologies to any of my British fans here. Ladies and gentlemen, this Sunday at WrestleMania, both the WCW United States Champion Edge and the WCW Canadian Champion Mr. Lance Storm have agreed to put both the titles on the line in a one-on-one match between the two to settle the differences, thus merging the championships. It is at this time that I'd like to introduce first the WCW United States Champion, Edge. And, that's when Edge's music starts playing, Rob Zombie, never gonna stop, yeah, all playing over the loudspeakers. United States Champion makes his way down to the ring, he takes his seat. Lord Regal then goes on to introduce Lance Storm, probably a little bit more of a friendly introduction because, well, he is WCW. Maybe not too friendly, though, because remember, Lance Storm did kind of take over the European Championship, and, well, Regal, it's kind of like represents him, so they did feud over it for a little while before Regal turned his back, but we'll discuss that or actually I probably already have discussed that since this is Thursday. I have yet to record the kind of like the look back of the Invasion videos and all that, so I'm sure you guys already know my opinion on kind of what I've done with Lord Regal and how I kind of wish I would have done a little bit more with him, but I don't want to get too into that. Nonetheless, though, he introduces Lance Storm, and he comes out. He's carrying both the United States and the Canadian Championships. Clip plays showing how he got a hold of both the titles. You guys remember it as well. We've talked about it before. Lance Storm has a hold of both championships. So we continue on. Lance Storm's in the ring. Edge is in the ring. Regal continues to talk. Gentlemen, please look over the contract because I'm sure that both of you will find something quite interesting in there. Because you see, not only will the WCW United States Championship be on the line, not only will the WCW Canadian Championship be on the line, but at WrestleMania, when those two titles are merged, we will finally have an answer to who will be. And that's when Regal rips that black cloth right off that box and he reveals what's underneath, and he goes on to say, our first WCW North American Champion. And before I continue on this angle, I want to make one thing clear. I know that I never actually straight up said that, yeah, we're doing a North American Championship, but I've heavily hinted at the fact of me doing a North American Championship. From when Lance Storm was feuding with Eddie Guerrero and the whole mention that there being no Mexican championship, but there's a Canadian, there's a European, and so on and so forth, to Storm, mentioning the whole North American thing over and over again. I've been planting the seed, so I just want to make it clear. Even though no one's accusing me or anything, but I just want to make it clear for my own sanity and sake that I had this idea way before NXT introduced their North American Championship, and way before the NWA revealed their North American Championship. I had it first. It's not my first idea. Of course, there's been North American Championships, but it was my idea this entire time. I'm not copying WWE or NWA or anything. I've been doing this for a while. Like, this was the plan with Lance Storm, and it kind of irritated me when I saw NXT do their North American Championship, because right there I was like, oh, freaking A, people are going to think that I got the idea from them. And it's just kind of bad circumstances because, I would have beat NXT if my laptop didn't break. I would have already been past WrestleMania and all this if my previous laptop didn't break. And I would have already introduced my North American Championship before NXT did. So it frustrated me so fucking bad when I saw that NXT revealed it. And I'm just like, damn it, people are going to think I copied him. But I didn't. I had this idea beforehand. It just, circumstances didn't work out in my favor. Whoever works for WWE watching my videos, get out of my head. Triple H, I know it's you, Triple H. I know it's you, Triple H. Anyway, that's when Lance Storm begins to laugh on the mic and he goes, well, isn't this something else? For weeks, I've been saying how I was the true champion of North America and how you were just another body for me to step over, just like this title. And then that's when he holds up the United States Championship, kind of, bringing up the fact that it doesn't mean anything to him. It's just another time, he'll throw it on the ground and just step over it pretty much. Continuing, you're a fraud, Edge, a Canadian turning his back on his country to go play American, while I, on the other hand, have embraced my homeland, defended it against all and anyone who have mocked Canada over the years, against those who feel that their country is better than the Great North. Representatives from Europe, kind of maybe taking a jab at Regal there, Mexico to even the good old US of A, have all stepped up to be put down. And Edge, just like the past, this Sunday, I put you down once and for all and stand tall as the true North American champion. And that's when Storm signs the contract before holding up the Canadian Championship in the air. Just the Canadian Championship. Remember, Lance Storm, even though he's in possession of the United States Championship, he don't really care. He's only really doing it to get in Edge's head. It's all about the Canadian Championship. It's all about Canada to Lance Storm here. And then Edge just kind of looks up at him, really just not even giving a damn, goes, you done? You know what, Lance? I'll give you one thing. And that's throughout this entire invasion, you've been WCW's most consistent performer. You were the first and only to take a WWF title and turn it into a WCW title. And no matter who it was or what company they represented, you defended that title against all comers, including myself. And you've held on to that championship for almost a year now, which is why it's going to be a sad day when this Canadian boy living the American dream puts you out this Sunday. And then once the WWF walks away the victors by the end of the night, not only will I be the final WCW United States champion and the final WCW Canadian champion, but I'll also be the first and only WCW North American champion. So I'll tell you what, Sir Lancelot, why don't you hold on to United States Championship for me until Sunday? Because after WrestleMania, you won't have 3 titles or 2 titles. Hell, you won't even have 1. Not even the title of Canada's best. Because after Sunday, that'll be me. And then that pisses Lance Storm off because all he cares about is being, heralded as Canada's best. I mean, if I could have Bret Hart come out of retirement and, put on a great match, that'd be the dream match, Canada's love, child of Bret Hart. I mean, that's their guy taking on Lance Storm. It'd be the match. But so Lance Storm, pissed that pretty much Edge just spat in his face and called himself better than him. He just rips off, his jacket because he's dressed for the occasion. He's looking nice, so he's nice. He starts ripping off his jacket and he starts to fight, with the United States champion. He's trying to get, ready to, start a fight with him. But Edge, he's not having it. He knows he's in Lance Storm's head, so he just smiles at him and waves as he gets up, fixes his jacket, and just leaves the ring, opting to pretty much just wait to fight for Sunday while Lance Storm just kind of sitting there pissed, hanging on the ropes, telling Edge to get back in the ring as he's ready to fight. But it's not happening. Edge is in his head, and Edge is in his head. I like that. And at the end of the day, we got 2 people very confident, both champions, looking to become the first champion. And you're always setting up the title. The first champion always sets it up. You have the guys like Pat Patterson. You have guys like Harley Race, who's the first ever United States champion. You got like Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, first ever European champion. Mankind, first ever hardcore champion. I could keep going on and on. The first champion always sets it. Is it going to be Edge? Is it going to be Lance Storm? I mean, we have a new title. That's the big reveal here. I mean, like I said, I've been talking about it or kind of teasing it, but I never actually mentioned it, but it's happening. Titles are going to be merged, and we're going to have one true North American champion after WrestleMania. 83B plus there for the opening angle, technically. Crowd's hot for it. Lance Storm and Edge advance. I was hoping it would get him a little bit more heat, but that's fine. We then have a 69C plus as we kind of go backstage. Broadcast is being interrupted. Static starts taking over the screen, and we're backstage now in our dimly lit room with the light bulb swinging back and forth, where the flock always cuts their promos. Raven begins to speak, and he goes, "A great man once said, it's not the size of the dog in a fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Tonight we'll see if that quote rings true for the Cruiserweight division." And that's when Vampiro, kind of laughing, he doesn't really interrupt Raven, he just kind of cuts himself in and he goes, "The itsy bitsy Cruiserweights are not only in for a treat tonight, but come this Sunday, I'll swat them out of the air with my steel fly swatter, breaking their bones and clipping their wings in the process. Their screams will be heard worldwide, as the entire world watches as I ascend to the heavens to claim my precious and bury the Cruiserweight division once and for all. It'll be beautiful." And the flock just, maybe not the entirety of the flock, but they just start, Vampiro just kind of maybe starts laughing maniacally, Daphne maybe with him, while Bossman and Saturn just kind of sit there looking menacingly as always, and Raven just sitting in his chair or whatever, rocking back and forth. So there you have that. 69C plus, just a little bit of hype for the upcoming Fatal 4-Way match, and a little bit of added hype for the ladder match that we will see soon. The steel fly swatter referencing the ladder, of course, if you didn't catch that. It did lose heat for the Cruiserweight feud, but hopefully we'll be gaining it back here in just a moment. As we jump into our first match of the night, it is 8-man tag team action, our first of 2 8-man matches now that I think about it. 75 B- rating here, as we have a decent matchup here. Billy Kidman, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero Jr., and Dean Malenko, 4 of the competitors that will be facing Vampiro. The only one missing, of course, being Rey Mysterio Jr., who was out injured. We probably will see him at WrestleMania. But anyway, decent matchup here. The team of Cruiserweights go over the flock, Vampiro, Raven, and Saturn and Bossman in 8 minutes, 9 seconds after Vampiro intentionally got disqualified when fighting... That was supposed to be Dean Malenko, not Chavo Guerrero. My bad. Nonetheless, who cares? It's really not that big of a deal. But it was supposed to be Dean Malenko because it kind of references the next angle. But like I said, it's really not that big of a deal. Nonetheless, though, Vampiro getting intentionally disqualified after taking a literal spike and jabbing it right into the forehead of Dean Malenko, or Chavo Guerrero, I guess, in this case. And that kind of rings the bell there. So Perry Saturn's getting better at his gimmick. That's pretty cool. Dean Malenko with an in-ring performance of a 68. Chavo Guerrero with a 53. Looks like, oh, never mind. I was going to say looks like he was the weakest. I mean, he was, but he was tied for the weakest. Excuse me. Eddie Guerrero with an in-ring performance of a 72. Billy Kidman with a 53, so Chavo and Billy tied for the worst performance of the match. That's not bad, though. Raven with a 77 in-ring performance. Looks like he was the best of the match. Good for you, Raven. Saturn with a 72, Bossman with a 63, and Vampiro with a 73. So there you have that. Not too bad for an opening matchup here. Eddie's improving in his performance skills, as is Vampiro, and Perry Saturn is improving in both his technical and performance skills. So Saturn doing a lot of work here tonight, getting better at his gimmick, getting better at technical and performance. Good for you, Perry. And then finally, afterwards, 80 solid B rating here as the match ends with DQ. Like I mentioned in the previous segment, or angle, or match, whatever you want to call it. It should be a match. It was supposed to be Malenko, so like I said, Vampiro jabs Dean Malenko with the spike, not Chavo Guerrero, right in the head, and once the bell rings, that's when the flock, the rest of the flock, I should say, Raven, Bossman, Saturn, flood into the ring, and they go after the other Cruiserweights, looking to take out the majority of Vampiro's challengers before Sunday. So we got an all-out brawl. Raven, of course, slides out, being the hardcore veteran. He slides out of the ring and begins to grab all these weapons from under the ring and starts just throwing them into the ring one by one until the lights just dim out and we hear Rey Mysterio's music start playing. I'm not going to try to do it. It's not going to be pretty. Anyway, Rey Mysterio's music goes off, lights go dim, fireworks go off, and the returning Rey Mysterio Jr. goes flying off into the air. And Rey starts racing towards to the ringside, going to save his fellow cruiserweights. Raven tries to meet him halfway. He's got a stop sign in the hand, looking to smack the Rey Mysterio. What is he, The Rock? Looking to smack Rey with it, but Rey Mysterio able to avoid him by drop kicking Raven right into his legs, and Raven, of course, goes face first into his infamous shop sign. What am I saying? I get too excited in these angles sometimes. Right into, Raven's infamous shopping cart of weapons that he would always bring. So Raven goes kind of like face first into that. I'd like to imagine it's kind of like that back portion of the shopping cart. So he actually goes inside the shopping cart. Nonetheless, though, Raven is sent into the shopping cart. And Rey Mysterio, he's ready to go into the ring. We've got Vampiro, Saturn, and Bossman pretty much all waiting for Rey Mysterio. Like, what are you going to do, dude? You're going to come at all three of us at the same time? But unfortunately for them, maybe it's stupidity. Maybe it's just the shock of Rey Mysterio showing up before WrestleMania. They forget about the other cruiserweights. And Eddie, Chavo, Billy Kidman start attacking Bossman, Saturn, and Vampiro, pretty much going after them. Rey Mysterio uses this as a distraction to slide into the ring and join his fellow cruiserweights in the beatdown of the flock. Probably just kind of taking turns, hitting their signature maneuvers or all that. Maybe Saturn or Bossman is in the ring and he takes turns taking frog splashes in the shooting star press before Rey Mysterio sets him up for the 619, and the flock goes ahead and pulls out Bossman before Rey can hit the 619, and so you got all the four of the flock members just kind of standing there while the cruiserweights are standing tall. And then I'd imagine the cruiserweights, of course, bounce off the ropes, go jumping off out over the ropes and all that onto the flock, looking all flippy and floppity, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, cruiserweights stand tall. End of the story. They get the upper hand on the flock. They dive out of the ring, taking out all four members. And the returning Rey Mysterio stands tall with, I guess his opponents at WrestleMania. But nonetheless, announcing quality helped this out. Angle got the crowd hotter. Eddie Guerrero was good. All in all, good stuff. Look at Eddie Guerrero, Latino heat. Definitely someone we'll have to do more with post-WrestleMania. 76 B- rating here as The Rock has been spotted arriving into the parking lot, and our broadcast partner Charmel is standing by hoping to get a word from the Great One. So Charmel, she's waiting for The Rock. She spots The Rock and she is quick on the dime because she goes right to it and she's like, "Excuse me, Rock, can I get a few words regarding your contract signing tonight?" And Rock caught off just by the beauty of Charmel. She's like, "Whoa, mama, what's your name, baby girl?" And Charmel, of course, it's The Rock. She's kind of taken aback, so she's just like, "Oh, it's Charmel." And Rock looks at her and he goes, "Well, Charmel, The Rock's going to let you in on a little secret. The Rock's looking forward to his contract signing because once The Rock signs the People's Hancock on the dotted line, that means The Rock finally gets his hands on Shane McMahon." And he goes to walk away, and Charmel quickly asks him, "Well, what about Booker T?" And then The Rock goes, "Who?" And then he just starts laughing as he walks away, and Charmel sends it back to Mike Tenay and the rest of the color commentary team. So a little bit of hype for the contract signing we'll see later on tonight. Of course, the handicap contract signing between Rock taking on Shane McMahon and Booker T. But Rock doesn't really care about Booker T, as we've made that pretty clear. He only cares about Shane McMahon, and that's his that's who he cares. That's who his opponent is in his mind. He doesn't even know who Booker T is, pretty much. 77 solid B rating here, as we had a little bit of a preview of the Immunity Battle Royal on Monday Night Raw. I kind of made an official announcement for it. Like I mentioned on Monday Night Raw, the Immunity Battle Royal was a thing they did in real life, where there was a Battle Royal of people pretty much giving an immunity contract to whoever won the Battle Royal to either the WWF or WCW, depending on who won the war. So that's what this is. It's kind of another preview. We did a 6-man on Monday Night Raw. This is a legitimate Battle Royal. This isn't everybody. This is just kind of, a handful of people who I know for sure will be in the Battle Royal that really, aren't getting a lot of spotlight, so what might as well throw them on here because this is just more of a angle-heavy show instead of being a more match-heavy show. So there you have that. 77 solid B, though. That's not too shabby. Decent matchup here. Bradshaw wins the Battle Royal in 10 minutes 21 seconds. Excuse me. Other members of the Final Four were Ron Simmons, Bradshaw's former tag team partner in the APA, Sean Stasiak and Mark Jindrak, of course, forming Power Plant, and Ron Simmons being the final elimination. Mark Jindrak getting the most eliminations over the course of the match. You'll notice how Giant is in that match. You would think the Giant would win this match, but the way I'd imagine it, despite it being WCW and WWF, I'd imagine that everybody went right after the Giant here. And with everybody in this match being kind of a big guy, with the exception of Disco Inferno, I'd also imagine they really didn't have a whole lot of problems taking out the Giant. I mean, you got Albert, Bradshaw, Chuck Palumbo, Mark Jindrak, Rikishi, Ron Simmons, Sean Stasiak, and Test. Yeah, I think with all of them there, they'd have no problem getting rid of the Giant, and I'd imagine they got rid of him pretty soon. Then throughout the course, I just imagine, it just being a normal battle royal until Power Plant and Ron Simmons are kind of last, and Ron Simmons and Bradshaw maybe, kind of put their differences aside for a bit here as they kind of take out Power Plant together, and then it's down with them, and at the end of the day, Bradshaw clotheslines Ron Simmons out to not win the Immunity Battle Royal, but kind of get a little bit of momentum heading into the Immunity Battle Royal. So, good for Bradshaw. Chuck Palumbo seemed off his game. That's a shame for him. Sean Stasiak's getting better at his gimmick. Gained some heat for the Too Cool Boogie Nights feud. I guess that makes sense. Disco and Rikishi are in here, but I didn't really think about that. But yeah, there you have it. Ron Simmons also improving in his technical skills. You'll notice how the breakup of TNA storyline also advanced here. I'd maybe imagine that Test eliminated Albert throughout this match before shortly getting eliminated after that. So then afterwards, we lead on to a 79 solid B rating here. Mean Gene Oakland, of course, backstage. All right, fans, Mean Gene here, and joining me at this time are Chris Benoit and the man who will put pen to paper in just a few moments when he signs the contract for his submission match against Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And Ric Flair speaks up. Ooh, Mean Gene, I know I've always looked good with gold around my waist, but who would have thought that I would look this damn good with this shiny piece of gold here around my neck? Well, it's shiny, I'll give you that, but Rick, as I mentioned earlier, you're about to go out there and sign a contract with sort of a controversial way, with the sort of controversial ways that led to this match. Any final thoughts before it's official? And then that's when Benoit steps in and he says, allow me to interrupt, Gene, because I can tell you're pissing off Rick. Whatever's on Rick's mind will be unleashed in the center of that ring, face to face with Kurt Angle himself. Because you see, Rick and myself aren't going to talk crap behind your back. We're going to say it to your face. Something Diamond Dallas Page found out last week. You would know about that, wouldn't you, Mean? Or, well, not Mean, but wouldn't you, Gene? And then Gene would be all like, well, I didn't finish this whole thing because I figured I can, it's not a whole bunch. But imagine Mean Gene, being the kind of the smart-witted guy, fires back, well, I certainly would remember it. You attacked Diamond Dallas Page last week for no reason, and then Benoit will be like, oh, there was a reason. DDP was talking his crap, so he got what he deserved, just like he'll get this Sunday pretty much. Just kind of adding a little bit more hype for his match against Sunday as well. That was kind of what I wanted to do here. Even though we're hyping up the contract signing, I wanted it to be a little bit more of a hype segment for that. So nonetheless, though, Mean Gene did not come out looking good, but that's fine, whatever. Ric Flair was fantastic, and Benoit came across as well. Good stuff all around. We think, wow, holy shit, this did great. 89, solid A rating. What? How? Okay. Backstage, we see Jeff Hardy. He's hanging out with Rob Van Dam and Sabu. Of course, RVD and Sabu are also in that fatal four-way ladder match we will see this Sunday. But tonight, they'll be teaming with Jeff Hardy. And Matt Hardy enters the picture as he spots Jeff Hardy. I guess he's been looking for him because he starts off by saying, there you are, Jeff. I've been looking all over for you. We've got a match to plan for tonight. But I see you found our partner, so well, I guess we can start planning for tonight then. And then RVD kind of looks at him with a little bit of a confused look, and he's like, plan? Nah, man, you can't plan for a fight. What are you going to do when things don't go your way? You just got to go with the flow, man. And then Matt, a little still on edge, he kind of takes offense to, RVD's a little more laid-back approach to things, and he goes, yeah, because that's worked out so well for you in the past, hasn't it, Rob? How many titles have you won since you've been here? Oh, that's right, none. despite all the opportunities you've had, maybe if you spent more time preparing and less time chillaxing, maybe you'd win more. And then Jeff, of course, seeing things might be going a little south here, he steps in and he goes, okay, that's enough, Matt. Come on, let's get out of here. We'll see you guys out there. And then Matt, continuing on a little bit here, goes on to say, yeah, that's the best idea you've had in a while. Just remember, boys, come Sunday, we're not partners anymore. Team Extreme is going to show you what extreme really means. And he's, of course, saying that as Jeff Hardy's trying to back him up the entire way. I keep forgetting to take Paul Heyman off of RVD, but whatever. RVD came across well, so all in all, good stuff. Actually, that's great stuff. 89 solid A. You can't complain. That's great stuff. Good stuff, guys. Great stuff, guys. No, we're fine. 99 A-star rating for our contract signing. I know we're a little bit contract signing heavy here. It's kind of the same problem I have with Monday Night Raw. It was a lot of Titantron heavy segments there with Stone Cold, Triple H, and The Undertaker. Ironically, 3 people appearing on the Titantron on Raw. Now this week on Nitro, it's kind of like 3 contract signings, but I don't know. They're all different to the point where it feels different enough, in my opinion. But anyway, 99 A-star for our contract signing between Ric Flair and Kurt Angle. The ring is set up for another contract signing as the music of Kurt Angle goes off and the former WCW World Heavyweight Champion makes his way down to the ring. Video play showcasing how Kurt managed to get Ric Flair to agree to this match. Of course, that would be when he pretty much locked Ric Flair in the ankle lock, pretty much threatening to break his ankle until Ric agreed for it. We got a lawyer in the ring, no Lord Regal, no anything, mostly because I didn't want to risk the chance of, Regal ruining this or bringing it down. So we're just going to have a kayfabe lawyer in the ring because, well, Ric Flair being the man of class that he is, he needs a little bit more of a legitimate representative, I should say. So the lawyer goes ahead and proceeds to introduce Ric Flair, who comes out without Chris Benoit by his side. So no Chris Benoit by his side. He's opted to do this by himself and confront Kurt Angle by himself. Once in the ring, he takes his seat. So we got both Kurt and Rick sitting down. Lawyer begins to go over the contract, bringing up, how it's going to be a submission match, first person to tap out. There's going to be no pinfalls or anything. How there's going to be no one allowed at ringside. So no Diamond Dallas Page, no Chris Benoit, no WCW or WWF guys, none of the Ric Flair family or none of the Kurt Angle family, no 4 Horsemen, no Olympic old buddies, no anybody. This is a one-on-one match, submission match between Kurt Angle and Ric Flair. He hands the contract over to Kurt Angle. Kurt reads it over a little bit and he signs the match. And he hands over the contract over to the lawyer. Lawyer hands it to Rick, but instead of signing it right away, Rick goes on to take the mic and he goes, "There's no backing out now, Kurt. Once I sign this contract at WrestleMania, I'm gonna embarrass you. And I know as an Olympic gold medalist, you don't want that. You don't want that embarrassment. I've been only carrying this hunk of gold around for a few weeks and I already feel the pressure. Sure, you got the jump on me a few weeks back. Almost broke my ankle too. But Kurt, ever since this invasion has begun, I've made a fool out of you." Let's pull up our handy dandy notepad here real quick. "Since this invasion's begun, I've been making a fool out of you, and at WrestleMania is not going to be any different. I will make you tap out like I've done to so many before you, because I'm the best. And in order to be the best, you've got to beat the best." And that's when Ric Flair signs the contract. And he picks it up, and it looks like he's going to hand it over to the lawyer, but instead he takes that opportunity, and he smacks the clipboard right over Kurt Angle's head. Now, of course, that's not going to knock Kurt Angle out. It might break the clipboard, but it certainly catches Angle off guard, and Rick takes this opportunity while Kurt Angle is caught off guard, and he takes the Olympic gold medal off from around his own neck, and he wraps that Olympic gold medal around his wrist, or his fist, I should say, and he punches Kurt right in the forehead, and then he gets up on top of him and just keeps repeatedly punches Kurt over and over again with that Olympic gold medal in his hand. Kurt's busted open. Eventually, Rick decides to get off of him, and he goes ahead and wraps the, what we would call, I guess, the necktie, necklace portion, I don't know. Whatever, he wraps that one part of the Olympic gold medal around Kurt Angle's neck, and he just begins like choking Kurt pretty much with his own Olympic gold medal, Blood is just dripping down Kurt Angle's face while Rick is just sitting there wrenching at him. We've got referees, road agents, hell, maybe even Arn Anderson is out there trying to pull Ric Flair off of him. Finally, Rick lets go, and he just, he has the gold medal, bloodied, of course, with Kurt's blood on there. Still, he's carrying it up the ramp with him, hanging down from his fist. Ric Flair has gotten the advantage over Kurt Angle here tonight. He makes his way up to the ring, but as he's making his way up to the ring, a down Kurt Angle goes on to take the mic. Breathing heavy, he goes, "Is that the best you've got, old man? Because if that's the best, then I'm not worried at all. I almost broke your ankle to get this match at WrestleMania. And at WrestleMania, it'll be snap or tap. Because once that ankle lock is locked in, I'm not letting go until I hear your hand hitting that mat or until I rip your ankle from your leg. Oh, it's true. It's damn true." And Kurt's music probably goes off playing as he's bloodied and he's just sitting there staring down Rick while Rick's staring him down. It's an intense moment as we go to our commercial. Match is all hype up. Dusty, who's gonna win this intense matchup between these two? It's a submission match, and I can't imagine either man tapping out to one another. The pure hatred is off the charts. Anyway, great stuff though. Great stuff from both men. Bobby Heenan and Mike Tenay were pretty weak. Dusty, of course, doing his job. Served better announcing. Kurt Angle looked good. Gained heat for Kurt and Rick's match. This match is going to be great, I think. We move on to our next segment of the night. I'm going to take a quick drink of agua here. 79 solid B for the next segment. As backstage, we see Cannon and Hugh Morris, the WCW Tag Team Champions, making their way towards the entryway for the upcoming 8-man tag team match when they run into their tag team partners for the night, Jericho and Christian, otherwise known as Vitamin C. And Christian begins to speak as he goes, "Well, would you look who it is, Chris? If it ain't the two losers who we beat last week." And then Jericho speaks up, "No, these are the losers who we're going to beat this Sunday." "I thought they were the same." "They are." And then Jericho and Christian just begin laughing because, they're so funny and they're mocking Canyon and Hugh Morris because they're so much better than them and they've already beat them. And then Jericho goes on, "But seriously, tonight you're teaming with the best. So don't make us look like losers or you're going to get." And then Christian cuts him off, "It." And then the two laugh as they just kind of walk away. A little bit of I probably should have made this a minor segment so I didn't lose heat for our storyline, our feud, I should say. But nonetheless, just a little bit of a quick segment between the two, or I guess 4, before our not tag title match, but our 8-man tag match. 77 solid B rating here as a limo pulls up, and we're all wondering who it is. I'm sure if you guys can see the screen, you know who it is. But we're all wondering who it is as a limo pulls up in the parking lot before this matchup here. And then it is main event time. This will be our final match of the night. The final match before WrestleMania, unless you count the Super Show, then it's not. 80 solid B rating here. We have a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. The Hardy Boys not the Hardy Boys go over, but the Hardy Boys and RVD and Sabu go over Vitamin C and Canyon and Hugh Morris in 16 minutes, 14 seconds when Matt Hardy goes over Hugh Morris with the twist of fate following a turn by Chris Jericho. Of course, Jericho turning on Canyon, Christian turning on Canyon and Morris. The whole point of the story here is while, all teams are kind of at edge because they're all going to be opponents and whatnot, Matt Hardy gets the win after Jericho and Christian kind of turn their backs on Canyon and Morris, maybe taking out Canyon in the process as they walk up the rampway, leaving Matt Hardy there, leaving Hugh Morris there to eat the twist of fate for the win. So there you have that. Jericho's getting better at his gimmick. Sabu with an in-ring performance of a 69. Looks like Sabu may be the worst of the match here, by the way. Yeah, looks like it. Rob Van Dam with an 84. Golly, that's impressive. Matt Hardy with an in-ring performance of a 73. Jeff Hardy with a 77. Hugh Morris with a 78. Good for you, Hugh. Canyon with an 83. Christian with a 91. Golly, Christian. And Chris Jericho with a 92. Some good ratings in this matchup. Some great ratings in this matchup. Sabu is improving in his performance skills, as is Jericho, Hugh Morris, and Matt Hardy, all improving in their performance. Jericho's still improving? Good lord. All in all, Good stuff all around. No. This next segment here, I'm pretty sure there's no in between. So if you kind of want to be, well, you're not. It's not really spoiler free. Never mind. You already know Vince McMahon is here because we saw the limo pull up. But that's what I was gonna. The next segment kind of has Vince McMahon in it. That's why I was like, if you want to be spoiler free. But nonetheless, 99 A-star rating here as we're back from our commercial break, and for the final time, the ring is set up for our final contract signing of the night as the owner of the WCW, Shane McMahon, is already in the ring, and he has a mic in his hand, and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, in my hand, I hold the contract for my handicap match with Booker T against The Rock at WrestleMania. For weeks, Rock has been up my ass trying to get me in action, and I'm a man of my word. I made a deal with The Rock last week, and he won. So let's stop wasting time. First, allow me to introduce my tag team partner. He is a four-time WCW World Champion. He is the face and the future of the WCW. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my man, Booker T." And Booker T's music comes out as out he comes, or Booker T's music goes off, I should say, as out he comes. And he joins Shane McMahon in the ring. Shane goes on to begin to introduce The Rock, but Rock doesn't even really wait for his introduction as his music goes off, and out comes the People's Champion. He poses for the crowd. He's doing his whole spiel before taking his seat. Shane McMahon, not amused. He just goes on to say, "I honestly can say I'm not surprised." He then just throws the contract down at The Rock, and he goes, "Well, there you go. A deal's a deal." And let's pull up our handy-dandy notepad here. By the way, I haven't gone over this yet, but locker room stuff here. Earl Hebner hosted a poker tournament. Good for him. And Stone Cold Steve Austin passing on babyface skills to Rhino. So Shane goes on to say, "Deal's a deal, so just sign the contract and let's get this over with. Book and I have already signed, so we're just waiting on you." So that's when The Rock puts on some eyeglasses, reading glasses. He begins to read over the contract until Booker T begins to speak up because he's annoyed with how long it's taken. He goes, "Just sign the damn thing already, fool. You were bragging earlier about how you was all excited. Yet now you're here and you're taking your sweet ass time." Oh, fucking Booker T's voice kills me. "You're not the only one who wants this match, Rock. Throughout the entirety of this war, you've mocked me. You treated me like I'm below you. You've called me Whoopie T, belittled my accomplishments, and even went so far to take away my WrestleMania moment. But nah, I'm still gonna get my moment with me and the only guy who's ever seen a damn thing in me." That was a pretty bad Booker T impersonation right there, by the way. "Only person that's ever seen a damn thing in me," still bad, "my man, Shane McMahon, kicks your Rudy Poo candy ass." Not the best Booker, but who cares? That's when The Rock raises his eyebrow up and he goes, "Let The Rock let you know right now, Booker T, The Rock knows exactly who you are. The Rock just doesn't give a damn. Because let The Rock make this as clear as possible. The Rock is up here, and below The Rock is 50 feet of horse manure. And then there's Shane McMahon. And below Shane McMahon is 50 feet of cow manure. And below that is Booker T. You're just not on The Rock's level. So you want The Rock." Wait, what? Oh, I have to scroll all the way up. This is the bottom. I was like, what's going on here? "You want The Rock to sign that contract? Well, The Rock will do you both one better." And that's when The Rock points to the entryway, and that's when Vince McMahon's music goes off, and out comes the WWF chairman, stunning everybody because, well, that must have been who's in the limo earlier, blah, 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 whatever. He stretches his way down to the ring. He's got something in his hand, and once in the ring, he throws what's in his hand up on the table, and Shane McMahon picks it up to look over at it, and Shane just goes on to say, "What the hell is this?" And I'm going to need a drink for this one, so here we go. Okay, here we go. "That, Shane-O, is a contract. Because while I've got complete faith in Rock to beat both you and Booker T at WrestleMania, it's always good to have someone watching your back." And that's when Shane McMahon begins to laugh and he goes on to say, Wait, is this a contract changing the match at Mania from a handicap match to a tag team match with you as Rock's partner? Look, Dad, even though the thought of me getting to kick your ass at 2 WrestleManias in a row is tempting, I'm not falling for it. The ball's in my court now, and I'm not passing the ball. And I'm definitely not changing the match. Oh, but I think you're gonna want a Shane. Because there's a big twist inside that contract. Oh, and what's that? Read the contract. I'm not gonna read the damn contract, old man. You obviously came out here for a reason. So if you want me to sign this damn contract, you'll spill the beans. Well, Shane, we've already agreed that at WrestleMania it'll be the WWF versus the WCW in a Mania-like tournament where every match mattered. But I'll be honest with you, I hate the idea of having to sit back, anxiously watching points build up one by one. So this is what I propose. Instead of every match mattering, and instead of there being a point system, we get rid of the point system, and we only have one of these match matters. That's right. One match matter, and it'll be this one. Shane McMahon and Booker T. Oh gosh, I gotta take a drink. Hold on real quick, guys. Vince McMahon, how do you speak? Shane McMahon and Booker T versus Vince McMahon and The Rock. With both the ownership of WCW and WWF being on the line. So now that you know the details, what do you say, Shane? The ball's back in your court. So let me get this straight. You're saying that at WrestleMania, in this one match, the war ends. Both companies are on the line. That's exactly what I'm saying. All you need to do is sign the contract. Rock and I have already signed the contract, as you'll see. A little bit of a jab towards Shane, saying him and Booker have already signed the contract, but whatever. Shane goes on to take a second. He looks over the contract, reading over it really quickly before he looks at Book, and he asks him straight up, "What do you think, Book?" And Book tells him straight up, "It's up to you, boss. It's up to you, boss." In my horrible Booker T accent. And that's when Shane McMahon, he takes out his pen, he looks at his dad, and he signs the contract. He signs it, he passes it over to Booker T. Booker T signs it, and Shane looks at his dad and he says, "You're on, old man. At WrestleMania, I'm going to get everything I've ever wanted. And just like you did to Grandpa, I'm going to carry on the tradition by taking over the WWF from you." So until then, and that's when Shane McMahon extends his hand over to his father. Vince grabs his hand and the two shake hands, and Shane says, "Let the best man win." And then Vince looks him in the eyes and he goes, "Oh, they will. But that's Sunday. Tonight, I think it's time I showed you what a real invasion looks like." And that's when superstars from the WWF begin to rise from the seats in the crowd, revealing that they've been sitting here this entire time just waiting for this moment. And they rise from the crowd and they begin to rush from the crowd into the ring, pretty much looking to go after, not The Rock, looking to go after Booker T and Shane McMahon. But that's when WCW stars from the back, start rushing from the ring, and we just have an all-out brawl. WCW stars battling WWF stars, and it's not just happening in the ring. It's not just happening on the entryway. It's happening all over the arena, and the backstage, and the locker rooms, and the parking lot. Anywhere you can see, there's WWF battling WCW. Hell, there's ECW battling WCW. It's an all-out war. Faces that are big-name people. Guys like, maybe not Undertaker and Sting-level guys, but guys like Kane battling guys like The Giant. You got guys like Booker T and The Rock, of course, battling in the middle of the ring. Guys like Bradshaw and Ron Simmons going at it. Little-known names like some cruiserweights maybe battling some hardcore guys and vice versa. It's an all-out brawl to end off Nitro. And that's how it ends. There's no victor. There's no anything. It ends with just an all-out brawl going on. And I believe that's something they actually did in real life. But that's how we end it. So, big reveal here. It's not a handicap match. Too long, didn't watch, wanted to skip ahead. Not a handicap match. Vince McMahon comes out with his own contract written up and everything. He does not want to wait. He does not want to watch points go up as he anxiously sits in the back to see if he's won or lost. He just wants this one match. And if it's going to be this one match, it's going to be with him in it. You damn sure if it's going to be with his company on the line. Rock and him versus Shane and Booker T. Both the companies are on the line. Whoever wins the war. That's how it works. And that's how we end off Nitro. Rock was fantastic. Heenan was weak apparently. Gained heat for, well, now the Rock and Vince versus Shane McMahon storyline. But whatever, who cares? We end off the show and we get ourselves a 91 solid A rating. Hell yes. I like that. I like that a lot. Increasing our popularity in 9 regions. This was a way to send home the show pretty much. This was the way to hype up for WrestleMania and what could be the final Nitro ever. What a way to hype up WrestleMania over the past couple of days. I mean, look at it. Monday Night Raw, we learned that it's going to be Triple H and Shawn Michaels, D-Generation X taking on the NWO. We're going to see The Undertaker and Sting, and Taker's coming back as the dead man, it looks like. It's going to be Stone Cold and Goldberg, and Stone Cold is in Goldberg's head, it looks like. I mean, we got Ric Flair and Kurt Angle in a submission match. We've got... Oh my God, my voice hurts. Whew, I'm too excited here. We've got freaking The Rock teaming with Vince McMahon to take on Shane McMahon and Booker T with both the companies on the line. I mean, it's a dream match mania pretty much, and we've got decisions awaiting responses. I don't know what that is. Nonetheless, though, what do we got here? Fantastic reviews. Kurt Angle, what is he? Best overall worker. Funaki, he's unhappy with the push. I guess he's finally out of enhancement talent territory. Good for you, Funaki. What do we got here? Oh, an incident involving test. What is it, steroids? Yeah, it's steroids. Okay, let's give him a fine. Fine test for steroids. Nonetheless, though, guys, that is going to be the end of this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed Raw. I hope you guys have enjoyed so far the week of WrestleMania. I hope you guys enjoyed the look back on Invasion. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of like what I would have done differently in Invasion. I hope you guys enjoyed the Twitch stream tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow on Twitch, Zach Manzi NVO. You got to go over and watch it. We're going to be doing a live stream of Fire Pro. It's going to be a Fire Pro simulation of both, some of the Sunday Night Heat matches and mostly all the WrestleMania matches. So you got to check it out. It's going to be good. It's going to be great. It's going to be huge. You got to check it out. Zach Manzi MVO. Go ahead and follow him. We're going to be giving away 2 copies of Total Extreme Wrestling in there. We're going to be giving one away early on after the Sunday Night Heat Super Show airs around the beginning of WrestleMania, and we're going to be giving one away at the very end of the stream as well. And we're also going to be giving away a copy of Total Extreme Wrestling 2016 this Sunday for our WrestleMania. I'm still not exactly sure, but like I said, this is being recorded a couple days ahead of time. I got to record all the videos, so I'm sure by then I will let you guys know how you're going to be able to win that copy. But that's it. Like I said, be there this Friday, or tomorrow I should say, for the stream. I hope to see you guys there. We're going to be giving away 2 copies of Total Extreme Wrestling, like I said. And if you guys want to go ahead and purchase TEW for yourself, you can go ahead and do that by using the code TEWOMG, and you will get, I believe it is $5 or $10. I'll have to check the email once again. $5 or $10 off of your purchase if you use the code TEWOMG. I highly encourage you to do that. And I've also got a store being set up on the way as well, where you can go ahead and purchase games over there. And I'll get 10% commission off of that as well. So that's pretty badass. But I've rambled on long enough. I hope to see you guys on the stream at Zach Manzi MVO. Remember, it's going to be down in the description. And I hope to see you guys there. So until then, I'll see you guys.